All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's go to job previews, okay? Because we've been talking a lot about job previews. So let's go ahead and check them all out. We just went through Warrior. Well, we went through the end of Warrior, so let's go through the beginning. Warrior's strong damage dealer with some tanking capabilities that makes use of many different weapon types. Adjustments have been made to allow Warrior to more viably swap between these weapons types depending on the situation and the player's personal preference. Okay. Monk. We've been talking about Monk a lot. You'll be right there with me, bro. Right on. Monk is a bulky damage dealer with an emphasis on fast attacks, sustained damage over time, and self-sufficiency. Adjustments have been made to increase Monk's damage profile while providing for a more reactive playstyle. Monk's defensive kit has also been enhanced to increase their self-sustain, status cleansing capability, and offer additional group utility. I think we might see a lot of maybe possible Monk soloing in the future. Maybe Dancer sub, possibly down the road, Monk Dancer.
And
it'd be kind of interesting.
It kind of makes sense if you think about like the overall intent of the job class.
Mm-hmm. White Mage is a strong healer and support class that excels in single target healing, group healing, and providing buffs to defend against various monster attacks. Adjustments have been made to enhance White Mage's magic point economy, solidifying their role as the main healer. Improvements have been made to White Mage's burst healing output by reducing job ability cooldowns, while also giving players the choice of using abilities to enhance hit points over time, spells. Additionally, certain abilities added to expansions after Chains of Prometheus have been given to White Mage to increase their overall party utility. I like the idea of that. I like the idea of taking abilities that were released later on and bringing them earlier on. Okay, I'm excited to get to Thief, guys. I'm excited to get to Thief. Black Mage. Black Mage is intense magic, and I'll get to the comments afterwards and everything right then. If you guys have any questions about any of the jobs, or you want to make comments about the jobs, or, you know, theory craft on anything, just throw it up. I'll get to it. Okay. Black Mage is an intense magic damage dealer that brings unique spells and crowd control to content. Black Mage is incredibly strong in the level 75 cap era, and stacking Black Mages is a staple strategy for dealing with particularly difficult monsters. The danger posed by stacking Black Mages on content has been adjusted and now presents more potential for monster ability usage. Black Mage suffers most in the level 1 to 74 range, while being very formidable once it hits 75. So adjustments have been made to existing progression systems to allow for Black Mage to be a more advantageous pick in leveling parties, which is kind of good because I remember people having issues with that back in the day. It was kind of weird. I mean, they had to rest a lot. Additionally, some Black Mage traits have been will be accessible earlier in the leveling process than they were in Era to provide a more steady source of Black Mage damage during the leveling phase. I like that. I like that because I don't want Black Mage to be one of those things where they, no pun intended, blow their load so quick and then they have to rest. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Red Mage. This is the one I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to have comments on, is Red Mage. I hope this is done correctly. Red Mage is one of the strongest jobs in the 75 cap era, with its ability to provide invaluable support spells, apply strong enfeebles to be a mana efficient healer, solo difficult content, and also serve as a solid tank. Red Mage is truly the jack of all trades in Final Fantasy XI. Adjustments have been made to Red Mage to lessen the gap between it and White Mage as healers, to provide White Mage with a more solidified role as the main healer in group settings. A lot of people have a lot to say about Red Mage. I can already tell.
Yeah,
this has been achieved without removing any Red Mage spells or abilities, and without nerfing the benefits provided by any Red Mage spells, but rather by slightly nerfing Red Mage's magic point economy, making it harder for them to serve as an almost infinite mana battery in most cases. Adjustments have also been made to lessen Red Mage tanking prowess while still allowing it to fulfill multiple other roles at a high level. Now, the nerf to the ninja sub and the nerf to the Red Mage's mana economy might make it so red mage is no longer able to solo some of those top tier fights. I'm really interested to go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think you hit the nail on the head. The intent for the adjustments, that's the word I'm going to use, to red mage, was to make it so that they're more in line with other job classes. Because if you think about what makes Final Fantasy XI, especially 75 era, unique among MMOs, is that almost all of the content that you would want to do requires a party. Yeah. So the idea that there's one job class that can solo endgame content or solo NCBMs or solo things that shouldn't be soloable from a conceptual standpoint. I think that was the intent when they were looking at adjustments to red mage. It's not that they don't want it to be unplayable, they just want it to be more in line with other classes.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm sure that there will be, okay, like, you know, the Jurassic Park line, life will find a way. I believe that red mages will find a way. I really believe that, because there's going to be people that are era hardcore red mages that will be hell bent on proving that red mage can still solo high tier content, and I look forward to seeing to watching that happen. Okay, job preview Thief. This kind of excites me. I was a Thief main. Thief is an agile damage dealer specializing in providing sustained damage over time, paired with spike utility based damage to contribute to party enmity dynamics. Adjustments have been made to increase Thief's damage profile while also providing earlier opportunities to spike burst damage potential. Okay, right there. Adjustments have been made to increase Thief's damage profile while also providing earlier opportunities for spike burst damage potential. That right there. Let me read the rest of it, but that little nugget of information right there, I'm theory crafting on in a second. Some Thief abilities and traits will be accessible earlier in the leveling process than they were in Era to make Thief a stronger damage dealer at lower levels and encourage parties to incorporate Thief into group play. Thief is getting sneak attack at level 10 or 11. That is my belief. What do you think, boy?
I invite you to play and find out. I will say,
I thought you were going to give me your opinion based on not being an admin, just your, you know, like your dirt dinner. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about.
So I honestly think that for Thief, there was a huge focus in the fact that Thieves would have a very hard time getting parties until you had a party of entirely Thieves.
Yes.
So that was something that they wanted to focus on, is that yes, Thief was a pretty decent damage dealer in endgame, but they wanted even more utility damage dealing, pull ability, and enmity control out of the Thief as it's leveling to get it closer to the feeling that it has when it's max leveled. They don't want it to just be there for the loot plus, you know what I mean?
No, of course. I like that. Somebody said play and find out has to have its own icon. I propose 2 hashtags. Okay, I'm gonna propose 2 hashtags. Hashtag play and find out, because I agree with that, and hashtag number 2, make Frank smile. Okay, or no, make Frank speak. Make Frank speak. That's my hashtag, not make Frank smile. Wow, I was watching a dev blog yesterday. He just sat there. He rarely talked. So I remember that. And I was saying that to my girlfriend. We got to propose hashtag make Frank speak. Or was it free Frank's mouth? Something like that. I don't know. Paladin. All right. Paladin is the iconic tank of Final Fantasy XI and is a versatile job that can take hits well while also providing much needed support to the party. Adjustments have been made to Paladin abilities and traits oh, sorry, itch, to solidify them as defensive shield wielding. Wait, hold on a minute. Let me go back. Adjustments made to Paladin abilities and traits to solidify them as defensive shield wielding tanks that more readily make use of their magic points pool to support the group. This includes the addition of traits and abilities from expansions beyond Chains Promethea. Paladin's damage profile has also been increased. That's kind of cool, because I don't think that Paladin should have to rely on Seta to hold threat. I don't believe that they should. I think Paladins should be able to be a good, effective tank and an enemy magnet just on their own.
I think they took some nods from WoW on this one.
I'm sure they did. Yeah, I'm sure they did. We'll see. We'll hashtag play and find out. Additionally, Paladin's ability to blood tank has been enhanced in certain scenarios, providing players with more options when selecting a sub job on Paladin. Hoy hoy, I like that. I like how they put that. Providing players with more options when selecting a sub job on Paladin. Paladin Dark Knight.
Yes. And also, like, my wish is Paladin Monk, because they specifically pointed out blood tanking, and then they turned around and on the Monk said that they're getting an even greater they didn't specifically say HP pool, but that's what I got implied from that, was the survivability of Monk is being increased. So stack that on a blood tanking Paladin, you might have a hate machine that just won't go down.
Okay.
That's my personal hope. Same with DRK though, as a sub job.
Job preview: Dark Knight. Dark Knight is a strong damage dealer, if you will, specializing in abilities that spike its offensive output at the cost of its own survival, while also having access to debuff magics, elemental magics, and stat absorption magics. Adjustments have been made to allow Dark Knight to more viably swap between the weapon types available to it, depending on the situation and player's personal preference, which they said exactly to Warrior. I really hope, I haven't read the next part yet, but I really, really, really hope that they do something to increase Dark Knight's intellect, or maybe give them some sort of a, like, end spells, like end fire, end thunder, end darkness. Wouldn't that be sick? End darkness? I think that'd be amazing. I don't know if they can add things like that though. Can they add, do they have the ability to add like abilities to the game? I'm curious.
It's one of those things where it's a long shot. Basically, if they're ahead of schedule on development for the next expansion to be released, then they might start looking at adding custom content. But historically speaking, because of the limitations of the original source of the code, that PS2 dev kit we spoke about earlier, adding new content from whole cloth has been largely impossible.
Okay. All right. Dark Knight has, go ahead, please.
I was just going to say the amount of time, like dev man hours, that went into being able to rename NPCs is unspeakable. But they got it done.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, dude. There's a lot of things that people don't know that go into, I definitely don't know, that go into the actual, you know,
at least 1,000 dev hours were spent on renaming NPCs and mobs.
That's crazy. All right, Dark Knight has had its absorb spells buffed. Okay, that to me is still cool. Dark Knight has had its absorb spells buffed to encourage players to use these spells more often. Dark Knight's offensive job abilities have had enhanced, and traits have been enhanced, and traits from beyond Chains of Promethea expansion have been added to increase Dark Knight's damage profile. Somebody, I noticed in my peripherals that somebody mentioned Stunny. You said End Dark is an ability in retail. Is that for Dark Knight, or is that for Red Mage? I'm just curious. It's for Dark Knight? Oh boy. All right, that's interesting. Job preview Beastmaster. This is a job I never got a chance to play, and I always wanted to. It's one of the reasons why I want to make a Taru, but I'm still going to be a Hume, just because the idea of anything other than a Taru Beastmaster just doesn't make sense to me. A Taru B, there's something adorable about a little Taru running around the jungle. It's just amazing. You know what I mean? You're maining Beast? Nice. Okay, let's get into this.
Yeah,
Beast.
Especially like Beastmaster Tarus who have pets that are larger than them. Like that shit, cute as hell.
Let me also remind you guys, I will be getting to questions afterwards. So if you guys want to, if you guys have any questions on the jobs, or want to make comments on the jobs, I will get to them afterwards. We'll do them in order, so feel free. Okay, Beastmaster is a versatile job which can charm or summon monsters to aid in battle while also adding its own melee damage to the mix. Beasts are adept at soloing monsters with the help of their pets, but can also contribute to group play in the right circumstances. Quality of life changes have been made to Beast to allow Jug pets. Okay, here we go. Quality of life changes have been made to Beastmaster to allow Jug pets to persist through zoning. That is legit. Jug pets will reflect, yeah, it is. Jug pets will reflect the level of the Beastmaster, and the accessibility and variety of Jug pets has been increased. Bruh. Beastmaster has also received more than one ability from patches beyond Chains of Promethea, and some pets have had their abilities reworked to be more beneficial in group settings. Okay, Beast's melee damage profile has also been increased. Okay, now if there's ever been a time for me to get into Beastmaster, now was a time. Okay, because wow, a Beastmaster in the party with Jug pets. That's cool. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, my understanding is that Jug pets will not affect EXP at all.
Okay, but charmed ones will.
At a 30 to 70 ratio, and only for the Beastmaster, not for the rest of the party. So it's not going to impact their ability to get a party.
So you could ideally have, as Stunny just said, you could ideally have 6-man Beastmaster parties.
I mean, if you wanted to, yeah.
You can have, that's like a 12 thing party, if you will.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I'm not sure if they're going to let you have a charmed and a jar at the same time, because then that would make it a freaking
have all jars, baby. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Or I just got to the next job and I was like, or what would be better than 5
Beastmasters and a bard.
6 Beastmasters, or what's better is 5 Beastmasters and a bard. Exactly. Okay, Bard. Bard is a strong support job that provides the party with unique buffs and monster debuffs through its many songs. Bard is an already powerful job that is considered to be a staple in any party in the 75 cap era. Quality of life changes have been made to allow bards to keep their TP when changing instruments. Wow, that's a big deal. Taco, are you in chat? If not, you're missing out. Quality of life changes have been made to allow bards to keep their TB when changing instruments and struggle less when soloing with melee weapons. That's pretty legit. Ranger. Ranger is a strong range damage dealer that utilizes different types of range weaponry to barrage the monster with a series of powerful hits. Ranger has received some traits and abilities from expansions beyond Chains of Promethea. Players will need to find the right distance to attack their targets. Okay, they're doing that. To deal the most damage depending on the range weapon type. Equip. Okay. Quality of life changes have been made to Rangers to our ability. Thank goodness. Rendering it reliable tool in Rangers damage dealing arsenal. Of course, they're not getting into specifics, but it's nice to know that Eagle Eye Shot is going to get some love. Okay, very nice.
It was kind of weird that you could use Eagle Eye and, you know, more reliably than not, it wouldn't do what you wanted or expected it to do based on its description.
You know what? I'm just like looking at this beautiful little link shell icon here. Can I make a recommendation? and maybe you can take this to whomever you feel like taking it to. You know how Era had the mentor system. What if our mentor system, if they make the mentor system, had these link shells instead of the mentor link shell? I don't know if that's possible, but if it is, that would be cool.
I think that they're using that link shell icon as a GM icon, and that's the reason that that's not going to be used for link shells.
You guys should have the mentor icon so we can have the other one. All right. Samurai.
That could always change in the future.
Yeah, it won't. It's all good though. As long as I get to see it every now and then. As long as I get to see it every now and then. Okay. Samurai is a formidable damage dealer that can utilize different weapon types to best exploit the weaknesses of particular monsters as one of the most dominant jobs in the 75 cap era. Very true. Samurai was able to seamlessly swap between tank and damage dealing roles with little to no risk. Some iconic job abilities from patches beyond Chains of Promethea have been added to Samurai, but players must make the choice to focus on offense or adopt a more limited defensive playstyle. In addition, key Samurai weapons have been tuned to be more in line with the power of other weapons in the 75 cap era. Hold on. Key Samurai weapons have been tuned to be more in line with the power of other weapons in the 75 cap era. Oh, okay. I think I remember Samurai using pole arms a lot in 75 in era. Is that what they're talking about, do you think?
Yeah, I think that pole arms were like optimal, so they got used the most specifically in endgame content. A lot of players felt like it wasn't worth, unless you had the relic, it wasn't worth leveling other weapons in Samurai. But that's what I think they're getting at, is to try and not necessarily nerf one weapon or make it so that it's a little bit more even.
Okay. They don't want samurais using Hagen. Okay. Okay. Okay, Ninja. Ninja is a versatile job that can tank with its Ususemi shadows while also providing a respectable damage contribution in the right setting. Adjustments have been made to increase Ninja's damage capabilities while providing for better options to hold monster enmity. The cost, burden, and level requirements of some ninjutsu spells have also been slightly eased to encourage players to use historically underutilized ninjutsu spells. I'm very happy about this, and I said that earlier when we read this job overview. I'm really, really happy that they're doing that, because I do remember the only one people used was Ususemi, and what was it, Tonko? What was the one that made you invincible? Was it Tonko? I don't remember. The one that made you invisible.
I don't remember.
Those
either.
are the only ones that they used. Nobody ever. Okay, some people use ninjutsus early on because it was hard to hold threat. But once they got a little bit higher level and ninjas were doing more damage and hitting more reliably with better accuracy, they just stopped altogether. So this will be nice. It'll be a burden to your inventory, but it will be nice. Additionally, Utusemi shadow spells have been adjusted to encourage players to place less reliance on the /ninja shadow meta and adopt wider variety of sub jobs. That I honestly think is amazing. I'm really happy to see that. Ninja mains will still benefit more from casting Utusemi than jobs utilizing /ninja. Shadows remain completely viable as a form of damage mitigation and tanking even as /ninja, but players now have a more tangible reasons to seek out alternatives. Dragoon, one that I'm very excited about.
I was just going to say real quick, if you notice, Ninja has the most text out of any of the job previews.
I didn't notice that, but okay, now I am actually, now that you said that. They did a lot to it. They did do a lot to it. Dragoon. Dragoon is a formidable melee damage dealer that provides a strong contribution in leveling parties, but sometimes struggles in solidify its role in endgame content. Some iconic job abilities from patches beyond Chains of Promethea have been added to Dragoon, while other tools in its kit have been enhanced to strengthen Dragoon's damage and utility. Dragoon has also had new aspects added to its Wyvern pet to provide for group utility. That's awesome, particularly in the endgame context. Quality of life changes have been made to Dragoon, with Call Wyvern not being its 2-hour ability and allowing for Wyvern pets to persist through zoning. Okay, I'm really glad they're doing that with that and Jug pets. That's just so cool. That's just so cool. Like this makes me more excited already for Horizon. Okay. The last but not least, can summoners ride Carbuncle? That would be cool if they could. Okay, job preview Summoner. Summoner has a lot of text too. So what's that laugh about, bro? That was interesting. Can they ride Carbuncle?
I'm just laughing about the concept of mounts in general. I can't really say more.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, you take that for what it is. Okay. Take that and run with it, you know. Summoner is a unique job utilizing avatars via summoning magic to combat foes and support its party. Summoner is versatile and can function as a healer, damage dealer, or support depending on the situation, and obviously sub-job. Quality of life changes have been made to the summoner by adopting the diversification of avatar blood pack types implemented in the Treasures of Ottergan expansion. Additionally, the benefits provided by multiple blood packs have been enhanced or reworked to promote their use and utility. In light of these buffs, the return for stacking summoners on content has been adjusted and now presents more of a potential danger for monster ability usage. I have something on that. Travel benefits that historically caused players to not level summoner as a first job have been addressed. By making summoner able to mount Carbuncle. We encourage all players to level summoner first if that is what they desire. It said right here, in light of these buffs, return for stacking summoners on con has been adjusted. Now prevents more of a potential danger for monster ability usage. I think what they're saying with that, right? Oh, you're muting Mike now for your real laughs. Nice. I think what they're saying with this is, didn't they do something about summoners, the enemies can build more TP from the avatars?
I believe that's what's being theory crafted right now. I don't know if there was a direct confirmation, but I do know that there wasn't a direct denial of that theory.
Okay. Okay.
And that summoners historically with their pets kind of fed TP at a rate that may have been, discouraging for people to play certain play styles, as it seemed it was intended for summoners to be played. And I think they might have also made adjustments to enmity generated by summoners, but I'm not positive.
All right, guys, we are going to get to the chat. So if you guys have anything to say about jobs, any questions you guys have, theory crafting, things that you believe that they're going to do, things that you want to see, things that you hope you don't see, having to do with jobs, throw it up. All right. I will start from the top. Monk Dancer, win. Yeah, Monk Dancer, that would be pretty interesting later on. I mean, we did see a lot of that when Dancer came out. I remember seeing Monk Dancer a lot. I remember seeing Puppet Dancer a lot, Ninja Dancer, but not, Ninja Dancer soloing. I remember seeing that a lot. Yeah, I do remember that. I remember playing White Mage Ninja with 2 wands. That was fun. Yeah, okay. I remember there was this White Mage. I was talking about it yesterday. There was a White Mage I remember on, I think it was Bahamut. I don't think it was on Carbuncle. I think it was Bahamut. There was a White Mage that was dueling. There's these rods. I think, isn't it like, there's these rods at like level 50 that are really cool looking. They're really cool. They're really powerful. I can't remember the name of the rod. and they had whatever the name of the super freaking awesome weapon skill that Rods had high level, and it was a white mage ninja that was wearing like all freaking strength gear. It had strength rings, strength, everything that I could get, strength, and it was beating the crap out of enemies. It was so powerful, it was weird. It's something I had never seen before, and I really remember that, and I really enjoyed that. Okay. Red Mage was so OP in Era. Yeah, it was, and I really, like I said before, I'm really excited to see how they, how it is going to be now. I just hope the Horizon team does more to jobs than make the old meta. Wait, hold on. I just hope the Horizon team does more to jobs that make the old meta during 75 Era not viable anymore. Like making Monk Warrior a viable tank, maybe Monk Thief for damage dealer for them. I really don't want Monk Dancer since it was the go-to for soloing in retail. Okay. But yeah, I mean, that'll be interesting to see. Very, very true. A Red Mage needed big nerfs. Let's be real. I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's nice to have that one job that can do cool stuff. You know what I mean? I think it's cool to have one job that can do really, really, really cool thing. Especially in a game that's not PvP oriented. It's nice to have a job that can do really, really difficult content. I don't think that it breaks the game in any way. And that's from someone whose main on retail was Red Mage. Okay. At least you're not being biased. Red Mage Ninja was absolutely busted. It was. And, you know, it sounds like it won't be anymore, but I'm excited to see what the community does with the changes. People played it solo, which I think was the opposite of the idea. Very true, obviously. Since it has had so many buffs, since it had so many buffs and enfeebles. It did. Definitely expensive when it comes to buying all of the spells and everything like that. In my opinion, Red Mage should be god tier debuffs and meh at everything else. I mean, I guess it just doesn't make Red Mage that exciting if that's the case. I mean, I always like the idea of Red Mage being a, you know, on the enemy the entire time, melee DPS that's cycling through, that's like melee weaving with their spells and actually doing damage. That's what I always really wanted. I wish that they would have buffed their spike magic, their spike spells. I wish that they would have buffed that. That would have been more fun. And then, you know, nerf some other things. That way Red Mage would be played more, in my opinion, the way they were intended to be played. I mean, let's be honest. End spells are freaking amazing. The first time I saw End Thunder and what was it? End Fire or whatever. It's just, I love those spells. They're so cool. And Blaze Spikes too. My goodness.
It's going to be interesting to see if they achieve the intended balance with Red Mage, where it's intended to be a class that can fill all three job roles, but it turned out to be a class that excels at jobs that other jobs that are dedicated to that role couldn't achieve that level of success with. So it'll be interesting to see if they achieve the balance where it can still be a healer if it wants to, it can be a damage healer if it wants to, and it can be a tank if it wants to, without it being too far nerfed to the point where it doesn't really have a place. I think that'll be really interesting, because the stated goal was always light touch adjustments to these jobs to get them more in line with their original intent.
Okay, assassinate. Oh, no. Let's go back. In Era, it got to a point where people played Red Mage most of the time, then switched their main for Link Shell content. I mean, it's true. Red Mage was just a chill job. It was a chill job that people hung out on. You know, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I think actual Square Enix devs actually felt that way about it. That, you know, they needed or wanted players to have a class where they could experience content solo and just sort of chill with. I think that, you know, the way it existed in retail wasn't unintentional.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it Merm? Merm, you said assassinate basically lower level, I assume. Are you talking about sneak attack? Is that in response to the thief getting something low level? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, Cyrus said play and find out. Has to have its own icon. Yeah, we talked about that. It's funny. True, imagine partying with a thief at pre-15. Okay, so that is what it's about. Assassination, he is talking about sneak attack. Yeah, I do think that thief is going to get sneak attack pre-level 15. Frank speaks through his eyes. Hashtag unmute Frank. It's gonna is it what's the word? Can't remember the name of the word they used to use back in the day. Viral. It's gonna go viral. Hopefully the best way to tank end game on Paladin won't be to stand there and not even engage in melee. I hate that. You mean to sit in there flashing the whole entire time? End Dark is an ability in retail. See, I didn't know that. And I think that's so cool. I just like literally threw the idea of End Dark just like it's out of nowhere. You're gonna be maining Beast alt. That's sick. That's sick. That's sick. 6-man Beast party when 6-man Beast party. I know. If Beast is actually good in party, I think they will be my second main. I mean, I'm kind of excited to be honest with you. I never really played Beastmaster, but I really like axes, guys. I really like axes. Big fan of axes. Bard songs don't hit pets, or didn't in era. No, they don't. I don't think they don't. I don't know if they're going to change that. I think they would have said something about that. What?
It'll be interesting to see, because I know it wouldn't make sense for it to hit jar pets, but if it hits charmed pets, it'll be interesting to see. That's definitely a play and find out. I think people will be testing that day one if they can.
Why do you say? Well, they can't on day one, but I know what you mean. Day one of getting that job. Why do you think they wouldn't? They wouldn't do it on
because a charmed ally can be damaged by, you know, regular attacks from their allies.
I see. Okay.
So a charmed pet becomes an ally in the same sense that a charmed player character becomes an enemy. That's my perspective on it. I don't actually know.
Okay. Basically sounds like a little samurai nerf, but they could use a little nerf. I mean, we'll see. We already talked about the samurai. Tonko and Monomi for sneak really? Tonko and Monomi for sneak invisible. Okay. Their debuff, blind, slow, paralyze aren't too shabby either. Are you what are you talking about there? Are you talking about Dark Knight, or what are you talking about? Dragoon can't wait to unlock it again. Ninja. Okay. Oh yeah. Ninja. Okay. I was about to say I didn't know that Dark Knight got paralyzed. I was like, no, that's white. Okay. Dragoon can't wait to unlock it again. Me neither. Pretty sure Black Mage and Summoner stacking are going to feed TP. Yeah, I think they are too. I don't know necessarily about, oh yeah, maybe Black Mage stacking too. Yeah, because I don't think they want to have like burn parties anymore. What if Garuda Haste was its own spell haste category like March? That would, wow, you could really, I remember being in a party. We were killing Calibris. It was a merit party, and they had a Dark Knight who basically, they called it Dark Knight Hundreds Fists. It was a Dark Knight with like haste gear on and with March and all these things that made it fast, and it was literally swinging a great sword like a dagger. It was pretty freaking crazy. I remember that completely. I've said it before, but my number one hope is that they buff skill chains and especially magic bursts to encourage that party style. Have they said anything about that, bro? Have they mentioned that at all?
Repeat the question. I was just peeping the fact that you are number 2 in category right now.
Oh, there's probably only 6 of us in category. I've said it before.
There's a lot.
Oh, is there? Okay. I've said it before, but my number 1 hope is that they buff skill chains and especially magic bursts to encourage that party style.
I think you will be very happy to play and find out.
Okay, hashtag, let's do it. Level 50 is ebony ones, aren't they? I really don't know. Jada, what is that about? From probably pirates, sea robber, sea wolf, I believe. I don't know what you're talking about. Create that. Oh, assassination makes trick attack better. I see what you're saying. Okay. That's not too low level though, because trick attack is not super. It's like 30s if I'm not mistaken. I sincerely hope no job in Horizon ends up being soloable. The party facet of Horizon is one of the key factors why I'm so excited. I mean, Beastmaster is soloable class. Puppet Master can solo. I'm saying that they can solo like, you know, incredibly toughs or anything like that, but they can easily beat up easy prey all the time. Red mages can definitely do it. Ninjas can do it too. Ninjas can kill, you know, even matches, you know, but I know what you're saying. You don't want them to be soloable where they're like, you know, instead of grouping. I don't think anybody's going to do that. You would just take too long to kill enemies if you're doing it solo. Yeah, that would be amazing. Allow Thief to split Seta before 60. Yes, please. I can't wait to see the melee improvements on Beastmaster. Yes, I'm really excited to see Beastmaster, Geo. Very, very excited. How you doing, by the way, buddy? If you do Beastmaster, I recommend you take White Mage to 30 first so you can do the mob versus mob solo style. You know what? If I'm going to go Beastmaster, dude, I'm not soloing, bro. If they're going to allow Beastmaster to play in a group, I am going to play Beastmaster in a group, and while I'm seeking party, I'll be out there on my own charming shit. That's probably what I'll do. Subjob Thief, be good at low level 2. Yeah, 20 if sneak attack is 10. If I'm just guessing. It's such a unique play style when you want breaks from groups, where you will probably be slash ninja. Okay, you're talking about Beastmaster. Okay, I had both slash white mage and slash ninja for beast and ended up using slash ninja a lot more soloing. I don't think that will be happening as much now. I mean, it might still in group form, but honestly, no. In group form, I think people will be going, if they're going to be in group, I think they're going to be going slash warrior or slash something that's going to help them do more damage, not evade. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. That's just what I'm going with. They nerfed slash ninja shadows, so slash white mage will be the way to go. Yeah, again, I just don't think so in party format. I agree that slash ninja is good for solo, but I feel like beast white mage gave me more ability to throw charm mobs one after another. Okay. You just think it's a fun style and it's useful. It's a useful primary class before you get ninja. Okay. We need to wait and see what they've done with the melee buff. The Beastmaster, perhaps even slash warrior will be used. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Slash warrior, slash monk, for boost, slash samurai, maybe for meditate, possibly. There's some powerful freaking axe. There's some powerful axe weapon skills. Honestly, slash ninja for dual wielding. Slash ninja for dual wielding. I mean, you still get dual wield, right? I mean, yeah. Doesn't Dancer have dual wield? What level is Dancer's dual wield? I think it is higher than ninjas. I remember that. I don't know if you can.
The question is it above 37?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay.
On Dancer, apparently on retail right now, they get it at 20. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they changed that.
A flex era.
Oh no! It was 20 on Era. It was 20 on Era. Well, on Wings of the Goddess, it was 20. That's right. They got it. They got it at 10 levels after Ninja got it. That's what it is. Hello, Governor. Paladin slash Ninja. Are you saying now? Or are you saying back in the day? I don't think anybody's gonna go Paladin Ninja. No. There's no real reason to. Paladins are supposed to want to get hit. They need to stack a mitigation, not stack evasion. Let's see. Yeah, level 20. Okay, so we're all caught up. So is there anything that you want to say about classes, bro? Anything that you want to enlighten people on, things that you've heard people, talking about, complaining about, things that have been announced?
I want to be very specific. Just because the text in the summoner job notes says that they encourage you to take it as your first job doesn't mean it's a starting job.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I know some people are going to read that and think that because some people have been adamant that that is what it means despite being told otherwise.
Yeah. That's silly.
Other than that, like, play what you guys want, experiment, get weird, because you never know what's actually going to work on this server until you try it. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about this experience is nobody really knows what the meta is going to be going into it.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see where everything goes, but like you said, I mean, look, play what you want to play. I agree with that. Everybody's been saying that. Play what you want to play. Don't play something because you think it's going to be meta. The one thing I would probably emphasize seriously is there are a lot of changes. Okay. So try to approach launch in with an open mind. Okay. Try not to approach launch in and even when it comes to the videos that I made about Sandoria and the one that's going to be about Windurst is going to be released tomorrow. Okay, don't approach it in like, okay, in Sandoria I want to do this and this and this. You really don't know how anything's going to work out. You really don't. A lot of things may be changed. Who knows? Just approach it with an open mind and be willing to adjust. Okay, I wouldn't really approach it in a way where you're kind of like thinking like, okay, I got it all figured out. I'm going to do exactly this, blah, blah, blah. It says, question, are they going to put out any info prior to launch regarding job abilities? I'm going to take that answer right now. I'm not affiliated. I'm going to say, play and find out. Hashtag play and find out. Didn't they hint at adding new weapon effects to gear, new hidden effects rather to gear that could go under the radar for a long time?
I will say, based on what little I know, that there will be stuff that is probably not going to be discovered for a very long time.
Yeah, bro. Can you, okay, hold on. Can you give me any kind of, can you narrow it down at all? Can you like, are you talking about like locations, party spots, hidden areas, like a little cave? I'm not done interrupting yet. A little cave somewhere? Like, can you give me something?
Yes, there's going to be a Destiny 1 era loot cave.
Okay. What's it gonna have?
No.
Is it gonna have dancing? Is it gonna have dancing Mithra?
It's gonna have Rarab hides.
That'd be fun. Rabbit eyes, yeah. Okay.
So, as far as that goes, yes, they did say that there's going to be new hidden effects. My prediction is that there's going to be content that is hidden at launch that probably will not be discovered by the time we reach our first expansion.
Okay. All right.
It's that kind of stuff.
Question, the person that just followed Frank11, is that yo, Stunny, thank you, bro, thank you. Is that Frank Stunny from the team subscribe. Or not? Because if it is, no, I got something funny to say.
I have no clue
You have no idea?
if that's the
Yes?
Frank. I can probably tell you pretty quickly.
It is. Frank, bro. Frank. Bro, why don't you talk, man? We want to hear your voice. Like, I was watching it with my girlfriend last night. She's like, who is that guy? How come he never talks? What's up, bro? You know? Hashtag. What was it? Was it hashtag what? What did you say earlier?
Unmute Frank.
Unmute Frank. Yeah. Hashtag unmute Frank. Dude. Okay, so yeah. I'm really excited, guys. I'm super excited about release. You don't like to talk? You're just here to look pretty? Yeah, me too. Don't try to pump him for info too hard. The scored mods don't get any insider information. Well, Kipling, you're here now. You're near here now, so let's pump you. No pun intended.
Kipling, I promise I've been a good boy. That
sounded real bad.
I've been a good boy, Kipling, I swear.
I am blown away every day. Yeah, we were like hashtag wait to release on everything. I'm blown away every day on how many people are hyped for Final Fantasy 11 private server launch 20 years after launch. Me too. Okay, I'll be honest. Okay, like this is going to be, and I'm not trying to hype anything up by any means. Okay, I don't think I need to hype it up. I think you guys are pretty well hyped on your own. Okay, but I will say that this is going to, I mean, obviously already is going to be the biggest private server launch ever. Okay, period. And I'm sorry, in Final Fantasy 11 private server launch, Final Fantasy 11 period. Okay, because I think, what did they say yesterday, like the biggest private server launch was like 120 people. Is that what Eric said yesterday? Something about that. I don't know.
I think something in the high 100 range, not like
100 years, yeah. Not thousands.
Not over 200.
Not thousands. Not thousands. All right. What are you guys like? What are your predictions, guys? What are your predictions? Throw your predictions in chat, guys. How many people? What is the high for? And I'm sure you guys will release this information. What is going to be the login high of how many people are going to be logged in concurrently on launch day? What do you guys think? Just throw it up there, and you can get it to the number if you want. You can get it to the number. Okay, I'm gonna put my number in there. Okay, this is my guess, and I'm going big. Okay, that's my number right there. 4,677. I don't know what it is. I feel really good about it. I feel really good about it. You know what I mean? You will be one of them. I mean, a big one. Yeah.
I think 3K is a good estimate of I don't know about concurrent, but unique logins over the first 24-hour period. I think 3K is probably a good bet. But at the same time, the bottleneck is going to be the login server, not the actual map server.
Can you guys say if any of you guys are still there, Kipling or Frank, are you guys able to say how many people you have signed up so far who have pre-created their characters? Can you guys give that information by chance? Yeah, which Final Fantasy 11 retail added classic servers? They are missing out. But this is one of those things, and this is one of those things I've been thinking in my head about how people really need to listen to their community. They need to listen to their community, even if it's something that they like, oh, I don't really this is not my vision. But if the community wants it, and it's not like a bad vision, just because it differs from yours does not necessarily mean that it's not the right decision, you know? And we saw that with, classic WoW. It was an overwhelming success, and I really think that there is a desire for era Final Fantasy 11 75 level cap content, no trusts. Okay, I think there is, because Final Fantasy 11 was about the journey. It wasn't about the destination. It was about the community. It wasn't about the solo player. Okay, it was about the collective. It wasn't about the individual. Okay, it was, us coming together and, overcoming whatever we were fighting against, whatever we were trying to accomplish. And we really, really, really had to go out of the way and accomplish things, you know, and people just, you know, people like triumph through adversity, and we did it together. You know, it's one of those things, and that's what people are missing today. That is what's missing from current generation MMOs. Okay. I mean, we've just changed as a culture, but there's a lot of us who still remember the old days with longing. And I think that's why we're all here tonight, and why so many are going to be playing on Horizon when it comes out. Too many that I was expecting. Oh, so you can't give me an answer. Damn it. What is the server capacity? That's a good question. Is there a server capacity answer to that? I think they said they have like a very large capacity, right? I think they said however many they can get.
The hardware that they have it running on is probably the most powerful that we've ever seen in a Final Fantasy XI private server. It's professionally hosted. It's not in anybody's basement, and basically that's the concept. Is I don't think they've programmed, and I'm speaking from personal perspective, not from inside knowledge. I don't think they've programmed a hard cap on how many people can be logged into the server. Okay. So it would be basically as much as it can hold.
Okay. Whoa, Eric said 4,800 characters, bro. I said 4,677. You and me, we're right here. I kind of like
characters made, not characters logged in.
Oh, okay. So he was telling me that that's how many you guys have so far. That are characters created. Oh, thank you for giving that answer. I appreciate that. So there's been 4,800 characters so far. People that have created 4,800 pre-registered their names. That's what I'm trying to say. Quote Matsui, I'm skeptical about classic servers, especially because I don't think that they're viable from a business standpoint. I have a feeling Horizon will prove this comment very wrong very quickly. You also have to, oh baby, thank you. You also have to remember that this is a private server. So whatever numbers the private server is going to be minuscule compared to a Square Enix backed classic experience. See what I'm saying? Because a lot of people that there is a stigma, let's be honest, there's a stigma on private servers. And there are a lot of people that will not play on private servers. So it's going to be a lot of people that are going to play, but you got to think like at least triple. Minimum.
So I want to jump in real quick.
Please.
Skeptical about classic servers, especially because they're not viable from a business standpoint. I think Horizon is unique in that area because while it is trying to be a classic server, there's been a huge emphasis on the fact that this is a volunteer project. So I don't know if the popularity of the server will be able to speak to the business viability of classic servers, but I think World of Warcraft themselves have proved otherwise, because WoW Classic is a very popular product. I do think that in the private server realm, what Horizon's going to sort of prove is that passionate individuals dedicated to a singular vision and to a mission that they believe in can accomplish just as much as actual like retail devs can. And I think
sometimes
that this server,
more. And sometimes more.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that this server, as it exists as a progression server moving forward, we're going to see things that people thought were impossible in private servers.
Well, I mean, I agree with you.
Because this is going to be around for years.
I hope so. And I mean, I agree with you because it's something that we've seen in modern times, right? Is people without experience in many different areas stepping in where people have been doing it for decades and failed. You know, so many different aspects. We've seen this a lot. People with passion can step into a situation and they will see things with, you know, clear eyes and, fresh eyes. And they see it from a perspective of, well, passion. for the product rather than a business standpoint. And the thing that I've always believed myself is that if you have passion for something and if you love something and you work hard for something, no matter what it is, the money will be there. The money will be there. So I don't think that it is not viable from a business standpoint, but we'll see. Okay, someone said something close to the number of characters made. I did. I put 4677. So, I mean, that was my guess. That was pretty damn good. I don't trust Square Enix to make a good classic server now. I don't trust a lot of people affiliated to make good classic servers because they're not going, at the end of the day, they're not going to try to give the people what they want above all. And I think that's what classic servers are all about. Okay. Nano said, Eric, the server capacity is 4,800 players, question mark. And he said 4,800 characters made. Got us stock up on battle drinks and snacks on Friday night. Bro, that I remember that. Back in the days, me and Taco used to go, we got to go when something was going to come out. When Otter Gan or, you know, an expansion, something wasn't come out, or, you know, an update. Got to get battle drinks and what do we call food? I think it was battle drinks and snacks, or maybe it was just snacks. I don't know. But battle drinks, you got to get battle drinks. So yeah, you got to stock up on that. I'm going to play this Saturday till I pass out from sheer Sleepka 5. I agree with Kudo. I don't trust Square to make a Final Fantasy XI private server anymore. The community knows so much more than Square Enix as far as what people want. 4,800 characters made. Holy crap. Hey guys, I asked earlier, let's get some more answers. What is your, I want to know some of your some juicy tales from Final Fantasy XI past. Some of your most memorable moments. Go ahead, bro. You got one?
I was gonna say you had some questions about the launcher.
Well, I was gonna wait on that until the launcher releases, and then I was gonna stream going through the launcher and everything.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't have anything specifically.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you saw the dev blog, so you know exactly what we do on that. I think the only thing that they didn't really touch on is that the initial install for the launcher is going to be distributed via BitTorrent, and then the launcher itself is using WebTorrent protocol. So the distribution of the DATs, the game files, is going to be peer-to-peer based.
Okay. Though I will say that is probably, honestly, one of the things that keeps people.
I read something wrong somewhere. Sorry, Ophelia.
Oh, what was that? Okay, VLC.
Something about the launcher.
Oh, okay.
I saw stuff in player questions in reference to this, but I guess I was mistaken. It was a public facing channel.
I see. Okay.
All right. Scrub all of that from the record then, apparently.
Okay. Erased. One thing I will say, that one thing that keeps people from trying Final Fantasy XI, coming back to Final Fantasy XI and all that, is the barrier for entry. Excuse me. Play online is just annoying. And people who never played Final Fantasy XI before, they don't want to deal with play online. They don't know anything about that. You know, they're not going to want to go through all that. So that keeps people from doing stuff like that. I've never played Final Fantasy XI before, and I'm going to start with Horizon. Not really sure what to expect. Well, also, I did release a video on YouTube. If you want to check it out, feel free. It's about starting in Sandoria, and I also have one coming out tomorrow, which is starting in Windurst. You can check that out too if you would like to. I'm gonna have a Bastock one coming out the day after that. Feel free to check out the video if you guys want to. The link is right there, and there's also all sorts of other, like there's video that you can watch on the beta. I was watching somebody fight King Arthur for like 30 minutes earlier or something like that. I was watching that. I really liked the way the character looked. The HD on the character looked great. Okay. Billy City, yeah. Expect life to be amazing. Expect life to be amazing, also. It's the last word in video games. It really is. It really, really is. Pretty much every character right now is a unique account. That's really, really cool. So many Horizon devs here. Can anyone say what is the server cap? We did talk about that, and I think it's kind of sort of like pseudo limitless, or it's kind of like come as you will. If you want to play, do it. Did we get an answer on the logic for the Ninja? Okay, the Ninja 2 hour for hardcore. You were away. Okay, so there was a question earlier about the Ninja 2 hour Majin Gakure, if that can be used in hardcore to basically cheat death. Like you're about to die, so you pop the 2 hour ability to avoid dying, and thus having a way higher success rate at hardcore. Has that been discussed? So far, we have seen a ton of interest from players who have said they have never felt comfortable trying a private server before. Very true. And I think the barrier for entry is one of the reasons. Guys here from Horizon, please make Monk viable for tanking. Sorry if I'm beating a dead horse, but they have so much hit points and have counter. All would take is a little. Make it equal for tanking as other jobs. And thank you for what you guys do on the Horizon team. They did talk about that, though. We did go over that earlier on the job previews, and they did talk about improving its defense capabilities. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a main tank, but it could definitely probably step in every now and then if needed. Hashtag play and find out. Thanks much for the appreciation. I love it. We're limited on making brand new zones, models, and cutscenes currently. Okay. That's really awesome. Otsu, hope you love it. I'm sure it's different than anything we played. Maybe someday someone will reverse engineer the game enough for us to make those. Okay. Otsu says, thanks. I'm basically going back in time with MMOs, starting on Final Fantasy 14, moved to WoW Classic. Now I'm playing this. All right. Hey, I really hope you like it, bro. I really, really hope you like it. I'm just going to say this, Otsu, make friends. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Have a good time. People are very, very open-minded and very eager to help you. There is a wealth of knowledge within the community. Get to know people. There is a spot in the Discord, in the Horizon Discord. If you guys are not on the Horizon Discord, go on horizonxi.com and join the Discord. There is a channel towards the bottom for link shells, and you can go and read all the various different link shells and their mission, so to speak, and you can join their channel and get to know them, make friends. I joined a great one. Thanks, the holiday. Oh, go ahead.
I believe link shells are going to be retail accurate.
Which means I don't play retail.
If I recall correctly, during era,
You're
that means you could
around,
hold,
right? Oh,
you could hold 2 pearls.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay. And how is it on retail? Unlimited?
I'm not sure if they've changed it for modern day retail. Like I said, I've only played probably from, I want to say 2004 to 2006, and then school got in the way of things for me.
Things always I have almost no work till the end of the month, and I plan on playing till I pass out many nights this month. Guys, get your freaking, like, make sure that you guys are getting your electrolytes. Make sure that if you guys are going to be playing a lot, if you're going to be, you know, going all night or whatever, please make sure that you guys are getting up, stretching, eating, taking a shower, drinking lots of water, not necessarily soda and freaking energy drinks. You know what I mean? Don't worry. The game is not a marathon. Okay, I'm sorry. The game is a marathon. It's not a sprint. That's
hydration is super important. If there's anything that I can emphasize, have water, drink water.
Yes, I have, during this stream that we've been talking, I've gone through 3 bottles of water. It's not Pellegrino. I don't like drinking out of plastic, so I buy these big things from Costco, and I have been reusing the same bottles for months. They're amazing.
I'm not sure when LS2 became a thing in Final Fantasy, but I'm being told by chat that it's out of retail.
Okay.
Or out of error rather.
Okay, should wait until we see something officially. Yeah, just wait to see what we are doing for the installer. Thanks for moving around.
Yeah, and
that's
up. Specifically what I need to walk back is I do not know how the installer is going to be distributed. What is public facing is sort of how the launcher itself is going to distribute data, but I have no idea how we're going to distribute the original launcher.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. We're all just chilling here anyways. Okay, let me see here. A pally I played with in 2005 ran me all the way from Basti to Juno as level 1 and came to find out years later that it was a friend I met in real life years later who was serving in my unit while in the service. We knew each other, but never really talked until we connected, and he saw that I had Final Fantasy XI on my Xbox 360 profile. That is freaking sick. Okay, there is somebody in my Discord. Okay, Mikia. She was in chat yesterday, and we were all talking, and I said that I played on Carbuncle, and I also played on Bahamut. She said, oh, do you remember, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, not really. She said she kind of sort of remembered named Draco. And she said that she was in a link show called Seekers of Secrets. And then Taco came in chat, who was played with me. I said, Taco, do you remember a link show, Seekers of Secrets in Bahamut? He's like, yeah, man, they were friends of ours. And it's just kind of so weird that I'm in a link show with somebody right now that was like friendly with our link show on Bahamut. I just think it's so cool. You know, I think it's so cool. If I can only meet Codius or freaking what was it? Alpha Weapon, Weapon Omega. 2 people I remember from Final Fantasy 11 days. I would love to meet those 2 people, or talk to them at least now. Okay. I still don't know what exactly hardcore is. Is the character permanently gone if you die, like Diablo? No, you lose your hardcore status, and you can continue on as a normal character. Your choice. Yeah, like Taco said, you just lose the hardcore tag. That's it. Is there any downside to grabbing it then? No downside at all. Everybody grab it on day 1. It'll be actually fun. Go ahead.
The downside is everybody will point and laugh at you when the server-wide message goes out.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Everybody grab it to see how long you can last. That'll be fun, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You can hold 2 on retail. Okay, Kipling, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, Hero Vision, this may be weird for me to say, but I think you may be becoming what Mr. Happy is to Final Fantasy for Horizon 11. Well, thank you for saying that. I don't know why that's weird. Mr. Happy's a cool dude. Malik said, screw that. Probably talking about me being Mr. Happy. Thanks, buddy. No, I'm kidding. Link Shell used to be the only one, so it's... Wait, Link Shell used to be to 1 only, so it's not accurate. Okay. Link Shell 2 is definitely out of era. Okay. We will be going all night. This is not the end, but it is the beginning of the end. Wait, would you say you'll poop sock for a month? Poop sock for a month. That's gross. I get it now. Oh, that's bad.
While he was drinking, too.
I got it. Oh, that was like one of those like, oh, I get it, French class. Except for not. Except for dirty. Bad Malik. Real gamers have poop buckets. I know, right? Man. Yeah, so super excited, guys. I'm really excited about the exploration. That's one thing I'm excited about. I remember playing with Taco on the first week when I got the PS2. We were in East Ronfar, and he was a black mage, I remember. And I remember what it was like when he realized, because you know how you start with stone and only stone, so you have to wait for the cooldown of stone before you can cast it again. Well, it took him a few days to realize that you could cast stone and then water, and then stone and then water. You didn't have to cast stone, wait 5 seconds and cast water, wait 5 seconds, cast stone. You didn't have to do that. You could just cast one and the other and back and forth. Made leveling black mage so much easier. Also, there was this little area in the northwest of East Ronfar that went in like a finger, and he would look at that area and he would say, there's gotta be something up there, because why else would they have that little nugget sticking into the mountain like that? There's gotta be something there. But every time he tried to get there, he was killed by goblins. So I remember what it was like when he finally made it over there, and we saw it from a distance, and we ran to it. We were getting aggroed by goblins. We ran in there, and it was this tunnel with like bats, and then we saw all these high level people running up there and running behind the thing, and then we looked when the door opened, and there was these freaking high level bats that were like incredibly tough, and oh, it was really cool, guys. It's just like little things like that where you just don't know. Like when I told you guys when we went to Lethane Plateau for the first time, in a party at level 7, and somebody attacked a mad sheep because we were killing them with no problem in West Ronfor, so why not in Lethane Plateau? And this one sheep systematically killed all of us as we ran in different directions because nobody remembered which way to run for the exit, and nobody wanted to take the time to open up the map. So we all just died one after another after another. It was freaking amazing. It was so cool. Most all my favorite memories in Final Fantasy XI started off with something going wrong. Bad pulls, trains, etc. Those are the good memories. Those are great memories. Dying in hardcore is not a downside. That is the fun of it. People laughing at me when my Taru dies at level 2 will be legendary. Have you decided? Oh, you missed. Did you miss the Bard job preview when I read about the Bard? I was looking for you and you didn't respond, so you probably weren't here when I talked about the Bard. Listen to this. Quality of life changes have been made to allow bards to keep their TP when changing instruments and struggle less when soloing with melee weapons. That's pretty cool, huh? I know you're like all about Bard. I don't know if you're still gonna Bard, but I don't know if you still have a license plate 75 Bard on your car. But you know, if you're gonna do Bard again, that's pretty cool, right? 2 more questions about that. Number 1, can hardcore and non-hardcore party together normally? Yes, they can. And 2, do you have to get the hardcore tag at level 1? Yes, you have to get it at level 1 right away. If you ding level 2, you can't do it. You got to get it at level 1 right away. You got to go to the NPC. You got to find it. It was so funny when someone runs in orcish fodder to the entrance of Sampdoria. Just at the movement, a new hardcore leaves the city and gets killed the moment they spawn into the zone from the fodder. Yo, how many people are going to die from that exact situation? Zoning into like the crawler's nest and getting killed by a mob train right before they actually get control of their character. I promise you it's going to happen. And people are going to be so mad when it does. My only concern for hardcore mode is how potentially I feel some players will quit a party if it's failing to avoid dying so they don't lose their status. There's a very, very simple solution to that. And I'm going to be honest. If you're worried about that, don't party with hardcore players. And I'll be honest with you furthermore. I don't think many hardcore players are going to want to party with you anyways. I think that there's going to be communities of people that are going to surface. Mindy or Mandy or whatever it was. I apologize for not remembering your name. But if you're still in channel, throw yourself up. she is creating a hardcore link shell that's dedicated to hardcore. So, you know, I guarantee you that there's gonna be people, and they're gonna play amongst themselves because they're gonna want to do things differently. They're gonna have their own little, you know, secret handshakes, you know. So if you're worried about it, just don't play with hardcore players. No worries. I wonder if we'll ever see a new MMO like Final Fantasy 11 ever again. I doubt it, unfortunately. The only one that I have faith in, kind of, and I talked about it yesterday a little bit, is Ashes of Creation, but only if they can get over their need to insist on having non-consensual PvP in like mandatory non-consensual PvP. If they get rid of their need to have that on all servers, then it stands a chance. But not if they do that, because so many people will play the game for a week and then move on. Because yeah, it's always been an issue in any game that's ever been like that. So why wouldn't it be that way on that game? As far as I can remember, Wings of the Goddess era made mobs vanish when they were brought. They did, but this server, they've already said that, actually no, I think that they said wait and find out, maybe, or did they say wait and find out to that, bro? To enemies despawning, or did they say that it's gonna be that way on?
Repeat the context. Sorry, I'm
enemies
doing mod stuff too.
No, that's fine. That's fine. When enemies are being trained to an entrance in somebody's zones, are they going to take their sweet time going back to their spot, or are they going to despawn and respawn? I think that they said.
I think that's a. That might
find
be a
out.
play and find out.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I would recommend to double check using the search function on the Discord on that.
Do that. Yeah, I don't want you to say don't say anything if you know unless you know for sure. You know, don't worry about guessing. We don't need the information that much.
And that's the other emphasis too, is that I'm not an authoritative figure in any way.
No, we know that. I mean, you made that clear, rather. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, but also not everybody who's here was here at the beginning of me joining the call.
That's true.
So, you know, again, as a disclaimer, I'm just here to share my opinion. I'm not like staff. It's just I mod the Discord and I'm hyper focused on what's going on there.
That's good.
So
well,
I just happen to see stuff that some people miss on the public side of the Discord.
Yeah, it's good to know, because that way you can clarify certain things that need to be clarified. Or, you know, when people are saying things like, oh, I'm going to start here because I really want the ring, you can go in there and say, hey, why don't you play what you want to play? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And really drive
that was generally,
stuff like that is
generally my intent of being here, is to make sure that people understand that there is no known meta. We want you to go, like, they want you to go out there and experiment, play the job classes that you want to play, try and find new and innovative ways to experience Final Fantasy XI anew.
Well, look, I want to say thank you to all the mods who hopped in channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for answering questions that you answered. VLC, thank you so much for chatting with us and, you know, giving us all this information, you know, and answering whatever questions that you could answer. I had a great time going through, you know, job previews and all the stuff we talked about. If you guys have any final questions that you guys want to ask, any final comments that you guys want to ask, now is the time. Otherwise, I'm going to let you all go to sleep. You know, get your rest, because 6 days,
I'll be
baby.
in chat, my friend. Thank you so much, though.
Hero Vision, does a project take donations? It does not. They do not take donations. They do not take $1 of anything. Every single thing that they do is like literally their hard work. They don't accept money. There's no way to donate. They don't want to do it that way. They're all taking vacation from work during launch. Like they're giving their own personal time for this project. Okay, so it's not like one of those things to say so that you guys will be like, wow, oh my god. It's one of those things for you guys to say so that you guys understand, you know, how important this is. right, to them, because somebody's not going to go and put all this time into something for a pat on the back, is what I mean, right? They're going to take all their time out of their free life and their families because they're doing something that they have a passion for. And hopefully we get to, well, not hopefully, we will be experiencing that on Saturday, right? Very cool. Not that I would have minded. No, of course. No, I'm sure we would all not mind donating, but you know, maybe one day they will do that. Who knows? You know, maybe one day they'll say like, let's take Horizon to the 10th level, to the 10th power. You know, we're quitting our jobs. Pay us, people. Monthly subscriptions. No, I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. But yeah, any other questions, guys? Okay, if not, feel free. You guys can always go to Discord and ask your questions there. And the community is very, very helpful. Are Horizon changes getting added back to lands and boat? I don't, is that a you question, VLC? Are Horizon changes getting added back to lands and boat? You know what that, nope. Okay. All right. Thanks for the stream. No problem. No problem, guys. Thank you so much. If you guys have not already, check out my content on YouTube. I would really appreciate it. I'm almost done editing another video on YouTube, which will be out tomorrow. I'll be editing a video tomorrow to be out the day after that, and probably every single day will be having something coming out up into launch and beyond. One more video that I know I'm going to be making for sure is going to be where we're going to discuss all 3 locations and my personal take after playing the starting of all 3 locations. That is going to be a video that we're going to be making. Also, I'm super excited to go through the launcher and talk about that. And, you know, I want to read all the add-ons, and I hope there's little tooltips. Like when you click on the each of the add-ons, if it has like a short description of what each of them does, and it's not just a bunch of names. That's what I'm hoping about. So we'll see about that. There are tooltips. Awesome. That's amazing. Excuse me. Very, very, I just had a Coke. Burping like an animal. Thank you, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.